Hey, so Jeff, we got to talk about something that came out last week that caught me off guard. I have been fortunate enough and lucky enough to be privy to see things in wrestling that I probably would not have normally seen. But I understood that there was trust implied by me being able to see what I was seeing, and it just flew all over me. Like, how is this out here? A photo was leaked before the August 12th Monday Night Raw. If you're watching with us on YouTube, we're going to show you that photo right now at myworldpod.com. And to Jeff and I, this is something that, well, it happens before every big show. This is not uncommon. It's not unusual. It's the norm. But the idea that this photo exists and is posted publicly was like, what? I mean, if you take a look, you see at the bottom of your screen there's that nothing happening clipboard Joey fan in a suit, and to his left is Triple H. To the right on the other side of the post, there's Bruce Pritchard. In the ring, there's Gunther. I mean, these guys are working through. I mean, I know that some guys, some old school guys, some old timers get uncomfortable talking about how to get color and the whole process of that. And I understand that. But this to me was like, this isn't supposed to be posted. I couldn't believe it. What did you think when you saw this photo make the rounds last week?
I said, hey, there's Stu. No, some of the production folks. Boy, Conrad, I'll be back up. When you said we're going to sit down here, you said, Jeff, you will not believe all the stuff that we're going to cover today. And I said, buddy, we got 2 or 3 podcasts that we've got on the horizon. I've read my research on all of them. And Connie, you ain't kidding. All right. This pick. This is where maybe sometimes I'm, as Karen would like to say, that sometimes I'm just not completely dialed in and in tune. It surprised me that this pick had this, I guess, kind of bigger reaction because is this the first time this kind of stuff's come out? That's my first question to you.
Yes.
And that, I guess that in and of itself surprises me. I remember specifically before Ric Flair's last match, SummerSlam was in town here at the Titan Stadium and we were out at ringside and a bunch of things like that. I mean, there was an all-out kind of assault. Some guys they thought security had kind of sneaked in up on the upper level, opposite hard camera, and they were going to get photos. And man, there was just a full assault to don't let them take pictures of this and that. I really thought that pictures had leaked before like this. And I guess it's, proof here's what it is, but it wasn't that big a deal to me in that I just assumed that everybody else assumed, through the years. I mean, when I broke in, Conrad, folks would say, hey, man, did y'all do that in rehearsals today? Or do you got to go to practice this week? Do y'all go to practice on Sundays to practice? Or how many days a week do you practice and this and that? Now, I've seen some old timers. I've seen some old timers slap some folks for saying we don't practice, just the kayfabe era. But to me, it wasn't that big a deal. I'm surprised more hadn't come out about it. It's a major production, but it's again, I circle back to the wrestling fan is so passionate. They eat up anything and everything. And if this is news, great. It didn't really expose anything, except there's old Joe Park with his silly looking shoes on. Other than that, the whole world knows he can't dress, but this confirmed it.
It was interesting to me because it was always sort of laid out to me like, hey, you can't take pictures in here. Yeah, we know that. Duh. I mean, I always felt like, yeah, I understand that. And I wondered, because I think once upon a time there was a photo done at ringside where you could see guys just at the desk, some extras taking photos. But in the background, you saw like Bray Wyatt talking to Roman Reigns or something like that. And they had to take it down, and that extra wasn't invited back and blah, blah, blah. It was a whole big thing for a day, and then it went away. But the idea that you get to see this sort of photo, to you, I realize this doesn't feel like anything. This is just old hat. But for people to see this, hey, those guys are just in their street clothes, and they're all working out together. And I realize it's not 1987. We're not talking about Jim Duggan getting caught smoking dope with the Iron Sheik in the car. It's a different thing. But I still think there is a little bit of that, oh, we're not supposed to see this, that gets everybody excited. Now seeing the reaction and how well it was received, do you think we should see more of this? Should companies lean into this and share more of it? I mean, we've seen like behind the scenes stuff before, but we're always careful not to show the guys like working through their magic. And
But
I understand that there is this suspension of disbelief, even in 2024 on some level, because for instance, we saw over the weekend, they had a big pay-per-view over in Berlin. And on the way there, they were all doing media. And I think Kevin Owens was quoted as saying something like, I don't talk to CM Punk. We're not friends, so we don't talk. We don't have a reason to talk. If we were working together, we would, but why would we talk if we're not friends? And everyone immediately gravitates to, oh, I can't wait to see them have a match. Because if they're not friends, then boy, what could that mean? Well, they got heat, brother. And I think even now, so many quote unquote smart fans who know what pro wrestling is would still like to believe, okay, I know the rest of it's a show, but now that, like he was hitting him for real right there. Like we all want to believe that.
yes,
When you post stuff like this, does that ruin some of that and kill some of the magic?
but I don't believe so. And at the end of the day, whether in professional sports, there's that. Well, you may not call it famous. There's a clip that Kobe Bryant. I don't know if you know this story, Conrad, but Kobe Bryant had a teammate named Paul Gasol, but they went to the Olympics, and so
Yep.
Paul,
I'm putting it through his chest.
and he dropped an F-bomb, and I'm running right through it. They're teammates, but when Kobe stepped on the floor and competed, not only Paul Gasol, his teammate, but all of his teammates went, okay, this is for real. This ain't no playtime. So, okay, that's it. I think that's in human nature. We all want to dial in and want to believe it. So a photo like this, when I think there's docs out there and talent A come through the curtain and talent B come through the curtain, and then they shake hands and thanks and all that. I think there's been tidbits of that in documentaries and just all that kind of stuff. Go back to Ric Flair last match, Conrad. How many people, knowing my dad's history and Rick's history and Lawler's history and whoever else you wanted to combine and all that, you just chuckled about it. Okay. Oh man, Jeff and Rick and Lethal and Andrade, they're having the match, but Karen and Megan, now that was real from
Yes.
a longtime veteran. I mean, it just kind of the whole nature of it. So I don't think it hurts the business. I think if people are talking about it, it's the old thing. As long as folks are talking about it, it's a positive. And the differences, and whether it's Dynamite or Rampage or Collision or Raw or SmackDown or Impact or whatever it is. And I don't want to say this picture is controversial, but something that it kind of touches a button of, oh wow, did you see that? And that picture's probably got 20 people in it, 25 people. Everybody's eyes will gravitate towards something different. They just will, or lock on, or they have a takeaway of, oh wow, look what they're doing there. I don't know. I think it's good. I mean, maybe not good. That's where it gets into. Do we need to see it all the time? Probably not. But every once in a while, it just kind of good water cooler talk. I don't know. Conrad, do you think we should see more of it?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. I want to believe that every now and again, hey, that guy. I mean, do you remember when CM Punk debuted? Like it was Survivor Series in Chicago. It was the big return from Randy Orton. Feels like the show's over. And then here comes CM Punk. And it felt like a happening because it wasn't planned. It wasn't expected. If that photo came out beforehand and Punk's just walking around, you lose all the magic.
Yeah, I agree.
More than that, if when Punk is walking down the aisle, Seth Rollins is losing his mind, not on camera. and referees and Corey Graves and CM Punk and those type folks are trying to hold Seth Rollins back to keep him from running down the ramp and getting after. I mean, they're holding back Seth Rollins to keep him away from CM Punk. And the internet focused and fixated not just on, oh my gosh, Punk is back. And there were even people who caught, like, they put the little bug on, like, hey, that's the copyright notice we're doing. That's the sign off. Here's the little credit to close the show. But then the music hits. So they did all those little things to make us believe. And then when Seth Rollins is freaking out and flipping out, I mean, I'm not trying to ruin the Magic guys, but come on. Now, if we see them the next week chatting it up, having a coffee on the apron, there's nothing to go for. But like when Seth Rollins gets in the ring with CM Punk and they're going to have a match, there are going to be a lot of people who say, now you remember at that debut, he was pissed.
That's
so
right.
But I feel like if we just continue to say, oh, not really, we're getting Starbucks, we're making towns together, we went on a Ferris wheel together. It's like, what?
I'm with you.
I mean, I understand that the genie's out of the bottle, but I do think the things that we gravitate to are the things that still make us want to believe.
Oh, for sure.
And this sort of takes me out of that a little bit. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, I love these photos, and I wish they would release more. Like if they were posting photos like that before WrestleMania 17 today, and we got to see it all these years after the fact, that'd be awesome. Like the little kid in me would just jump at the chance to see photos like this today in 2024 about WrestleMania 5 with Hogan and Savage. Like, how cool would it be if you got to see like a practice match that we all heard happened with Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior in a ring in South Florida before WrestleMania 6? Mm-hmm. That would be cool now. But while they're still in the fucking feud, that's weak.